cut off the zoom here. All right, there we go. Hopefully, this thing is live. Let me make sure. So this thing be acting up sometimes. I hate these things. Sometimes these be good, and it's just not working.
Are you live streaming on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay. I never really tried that before, but I had to try it one time.
Okay, yeah, so we live.
Cool.
All right, so we finally made it back. Welcome to the first inning. And we got a very special guest today. I mean, this guy has been on cable before John Boy Media has been on cable. And this is Section 420 Talking Yanks with James. Say hello, man.
Hey guys, how you doing? Pleasure seeing you again. You know, we've done a lot of cross collaboration. You've been on my show, I've been on your show. So, you know, it's always good. Every beginning of the baseball season, it's always good to catch up with you, as always, and kind of hash it out. Again, you're probably one of my original first guests I had on my show as well. So, you know, we kind of go back a few years.
Yeah, man. I was on the show when you was outside the stadium doing it.
Yeah.
Those are the best clips. I think you should go back to that. I always say you should go back to that. That was the best. The way you did it.
Yeah, try to make it like this season. I already gone there twice, so I'm gonna try to, you know, this season try to make more of a concerted effort to get down to the stadium more, because it's fun, and just again, those are kind of the funniest clips and stuff. I remember the time you were in the spacesuit when COVID first broke out and stuff like that, and So this last season I got a little lazy with that. This season,
and how the coal train is driving right now.
No, I think he's definitely right now our MVP, no doubt. Even though they blew that. That Tampa game a couple Sundays ago, even though it wasn't totally his fault. I think Boone stuck with him too long, but Cole looked like he's on his way to a Cy Young type of season so far. And again, right now, especially with this, the time Judge spent on the IL, Cole's been our MVP really. So I like that. Team now finally, I'm starting to feel a little bit better about him. Just like it looks like the offense finally woke up. It looks like they woke up during that Tampa series, even though we split 2-2, kind of felt we should have won 3 out of 4 of those games, and you saw the offense come to life. And for me, really, it started with Harrison Bader coming back. You know, initially during the Cleveland series, we saw some good defensive plays, but then you saw his bat come to life, and just around the corner the following week, Judge comes back, and then you see the impact of him, and he didn't get off right away, but you saw he had the 2 home run game against the Rays, and then in the first game against Toronto, another 2 home runs, and now you see a lot of these guys clicking, even Volpe as well. Him starting to drive the ball. He actually has the same amount of home runs as Carlos Correa. People talk about, hey, why didn't you sign Carlos Correa in the offseason? Well, if you look at it, Volpe actually just has the same amount of home runs, and he's making 1/20th the amount of money they're paying Carlos Correa to hit 200 in Minnesota. So liking the offense, so feeling good. Overall, at the team, much better than like a week, 2 weeks ago when everyone wanted to jump off the bridge.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're not gonna jump ship yet, but let me tell you, I mean, even though we have players that came out of the woodwork, let's say, right? Like Burke, right? This team doesn't feel like the next man up, like 2019. You know what I mean? Like they were struggling and they was just trying to just stay alive. I feel like even with the players they have, they can make a good run for it. I mean, I really think they have a good team. And just to mention that we still have more wins than half of the major leagues, even though we're in last place. So we're playing well somehow, but just not, we're just in a tough division. You know what I mean? Real tough, man. It's just one of those, man. But how do you feel about well, let me tell you. They took out Garrett Cole, right? But the start before Garrett Cole, they take out Domingo Germán on 82 pitches. But then Aaron Boone leaves Garrett Cole and struggles and gets popped. And so it's like, how do you feel about Aaron Boone's decisions making? Especially, I want to hear your thoughts about the Tampa Bay series on how they kind of downplayed to them on Mother's Day. I mean, how do you feel? What did you see? about Aaron Boone.
Well, yeah, I think Boone has had a bit of a. I mean, overall, I like him, but I think he's had a bit of a weird season of just kind of making this the wrong call of, again, when to take a starter out and when to leave a starter in too long. And I probably because let's go back to the Herman one. Yes, he only had 82 pitches. He only gave like 2 hits in the game at that point. The Yankees are winning 2-0. Why not just leave him in to finish it off? But I kind of on my audio podcast kind of broke it down, defend him a little bit. Only reason being, I think that was a two-part problem. Number one, Herman, we're not used to him going that deep into games. So even if he had a low pitch count, you still got to count how many times he has to get up before the start of an inning, throw the warm-up pitches. So it's more than just 82 pitches. And typically with Herman, like we see, he only goes about 6 innings. Sometimes he may pitch in the 5th. He's not used to going into 9th. So he doesn't really have that track record. So at some point you figure, all right, I got as much as I can out of him. Let me get him out of there, because otherwise he just may give up a single and then a 2-run home run. And now you're kicking yourself in the pants. Why didn't I take myself out when he's ahead? So I think that was one half of the problem. The other half of the problem is at the time Clay Holmes, he hadn't pitched until like April 26th. That was like 5 days previous to that. So, Clay Holmes is a guy who's been struggling a little bit lately, but he's your de facto closer. You got to get him right, and you got to get him consistent work. And you have an opportunity in the 9th inning. That's a safe situation. Well, if it's a safe situation, you got to bring out your closer and close him out. Like if you still have Mariano there, you would definitely be bringing out Mariano in that 9th inning. It doesn't matter how many pitches Domingo Herman has. So, you have to almost have the same mentality that, even though, yes, we all know Clay Holmes is not Mariano Rivera, but you have to treat him that way. So, yes, all right, here's my closer. I want to bring this guy out. And hopefully brought Holmes in. And, of course, unfortunately, he just let it all loose, and the Yankees lose probably the most heartbreaking game of the season. So I think that explains the Herman situation. I think it was a bad call by Boone. Me personally, I'm a field guy, and I feel Herman was rolling along. He struck out, Matt Stairs there previously. I would just let Herman finish it off. But, again, Boone has his feeling for the team there. So now that's that one situation. Now we got the Garrett Cole situation in Tampa, where, again, where he stuck with him a little too long. But again, Garrett Cole, it's his ace, it's his guy. You're going to ride or die with him a little bit, and you're going to give him the benefit of the doubt more than you give Garrett Cole. So, again, a bad decision by Boone. He should have yanked Cole out sooner, because you saw Cole labored a little bit in the 5th inning, gave up a couple of runs, then gave up like 2 consecutive doubles in the 6th inning. Obviously, he's not good. He's getting tired. You got to yank him out of there. But I think Boone, just because of Cole's track record of going deep in the games and being the Yankee ace, Boone is giving Cole a lot more leeway than he's giving Domingo Herman. So those 2 situations. And got to almost blame Boone again for the Mother's Day fiasco there. The Yankees are ahead a little bit. Now it looks like Clark Schmidt is struggling in the 5th inning. Again, it just seems like this season has been real weird for him to know when to take a pitcher out and when to leave him in. He leaves Clark Schmidt in way too long. I mean, he's definitely laboring. Clark Schmidt's not a guy that goes deep into games. We know that. I mean, you could blame Albert Abreu a little bit, but you got to blame Aaron Boone on that, because he's stuck with Schmidt way too long. I mean, it was clearly, he was starting to lose it there. He gave up a couple of singles, a hit, a walk. It's like, get the guy out of there, but he waits too late. And then, of course, Abreu comes in there, boom, and then the game is lost at 8-4. But with all that in mind, I liked in that game that the Yankees fought back. Even though it's against the first place Tampa team like that, they at least brought it with the 8-7 and came very close, of coming back despite all that, as well as just the day before they came back against a 6-0 deficit. So even though the Yankees split that series, I thought it was very important for them. I think they could have stood their ground a little bit. And even though they had some big mistakes, which things that the Yankees clean up later, I like that series against Tampa. I think they kind of, you could have taken 3 out of 4, but I just the Yankees showed them something. And really, if you go back to the 3-game, the series at Tampa, the Yankees only won one of those games. The Yankees were in position to almost win almost 3 out of 3 of those games. So even though Tampa's doing much better in the standings, I like the way the Yankees have been taking the fight to them. So that's kind of the positives I take out of all that. And it was definitely a long-winded answer, but I think I covered everything.
Yeah, man, you're absolutely right. Tampa Bay in this series hit 2 grand slams back-to-back in days. That's unbelievable. I don't even think that's happened in a while. But here's my thing with the Yankees. Is like, why did you downplay to Tampa Bay? Why did they put Oswaldo Cabrera at second base, knowing that he hasn't played there in a while, and this is a big game, crucial game. And then he could have been playing, actually Cabrera could have been playing third base, and LeMahieu should have been playing second base, because he's more of a second baseman. And Cabrera I think he won a gold glove in the minor leagues as a third baseman. Don't quote me on that, but oh man, it's just like, one of those things. Like, why did you guys do that? And then my thing is too, how you feel about Volpe leading off or not leading off in the game? How do you feel about Volpe?
Oh yeah, so I guess I'll address the downplaying thing a little bit. Also, you got to take into account. I mean, to us, we live and die with each game, but the Yankees are in the mix of a 17 straight game stretch with no days off. So maybe Boone want to give some guys a break, a breather. So maybe kind of saying that, and he might have been looking at the pitching matchups and maybe the stats against McClanahan, who started that. I'm not McClanahan. I believe it was Elvin. I forgot the guy's name from Sunday. They could have been looking at stats as well. Maybe other players had better stats against them, so that might have determined the lineup as well. Or just could have been just gotten during the midst of a 17-game straight streak with no days off. So maybe just want to give guys a breather and understand that. And at that point too, you're ready. At the very least, you won the first 2 out of 3 games. So not like saying you're ready to give up on that Sunday game. But again, if you settle for a split, it's not terrible. Versus the Yankees really needed that game, then I think Boone would have gone max lineup to try to get most out of it. So I think this had something to do with it. Getting to Volpe, I personally would rather see him lead off because I think I like his speed. Again, 13 for 13, the first, I think, Yankee to do that. Still 13 of his 13 bases there. The only problem with him is a little bit, it's just that batting. I mean, he's been hitting with more power like that, but still that batting average is low. And you need guys with high on-base percentage to try to get on in front of like DJ and Judge. So Judge hit like a 2-run home run. So overall, I would like to see Volpe leading off. Again, I like his speed. I like, when sometimes he leads off Gleyber Torres, I just don't. It just doesn't look right. Gleyber Torres does not look like a leadoff hitter. He doesn't feel like a leadoff hitter. Gleyber is like a number 5 hitter. Yeah, at best, a 5 or 6 hitter. He's not a leadoff hitter, so I don't like that. I'd rather him put Volpe, but Volpe's also got to get on base more and earn his way there. But I think, let's just say it was a playoff game tomorrow, I think you would see Volpe leading off. But I think this could be Boone experimenting with different lineups. We see him do it before. Sometimes he bats DJ lineup, he bats Gleyber lead off. He mixes and matches weird things. The second game against Toronto, he's batting Harrison Bader third. Like, okay, that's the only one thing I don't like about Boone. It's just with the lineup. It seems like he misses around too much. I just remember back in the day with the Yankees. Again, it's not fair to compare these Yankees to the '98 Yankees, but every day those players got to the clubhouse. They knew their job. They knew Chuck Knobloch knew he was leading off. Derek Jeter knew he was second. Paul Neal knew he was third. Bernie knew he was cleanup. Tino knew he was fifth. And I think we just go to the stadium. You go to the into the locker room. You know where you're hitting. I just think it just makes everyone comfortable and better. And it's like a machine. But when you kind of like toss these lineups left and right, and even what he's doing with the bullpen. Sometimes Wandy's closing, which I don't like. But sometimes King is closing. Sometimes he tries Holmes again. All these different matchups. I just think players psychologically, it doesn't work with them. I just think it's best, Jeff Nelson knows he's going 7th. Mike Stanton knows he's going 8th, and Mariano knows he's got the last inning. Or Mariano in the playoffs knows he's got innings 8, 9. And we just know that you can prepare for that in the early innings, get into your groove, get into the mindset, and execute. But when you kind of just throwing things up in the air, and every night's a different thing like that, I just don't think that does well for players psychologically.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. One point for Volpe leading off is that when he gets on base and he tries to steal, Aaron Judge gets better pitches at his at bat. If you notice that, I don't know if you noticed that, but hopefully they can bring back that that segment again like that, because they haven't done it yet with Judge back,
Yes, and the reason for being is, I think because a lot of times we'll say if you got a good base stealer, well, you're going to throw a fastball. You're not going to throw a slider or a breaking ball. It's going to go in the dirt because then it's going to be an easy steal. So when you have a good base stealer, it forces the pitcher to throw a fastball. And obviously with Aaron Judge, if he's looking fastball and it's in the zone, he's going to crush it. So yeah, if they could get that mojo working, like you said. Now that Judge has been back for a little over a week, and he's starting to get the home run groove again. Because really, Judge, just before Judge went on the IL, he wasn't really that impressive. He was down to 260, wasn't really hitting any home runs. But now, over the past week, you see Judge finally coming to fruition, and maybe that hip injury he had a little bit, maybe that's fully healed now. Now you're starting to see the Judge's power again.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. Hopefully they can, bring that back, man. But It's like it's getting to a point where now it's like you said, the players don't know what's like going on. It's like, they just show up and, like we got to just figure out what happens. Like, I don't really like that neither. I wish they just had a set point. I mean, I get it though, that they have to play towards certain pitching and the analytics and, ground balls to a right side versus to a left side. I get all that, but man, it's like the Yankees can't catch a break, man, It's crazy, man.
Yeah. The only time you see sort of consistent lineup when they get to the playoffs, and we saw that we did last year. It was kind of like we were in the playoffs, but when we get to the point, then you see more consistent lineup. But yeah, I wish they would do that more just during the regular season. I just think it's better for the players, just psychologically.
Now, what's the story with Aaron Judge cheating? Now he was looking at the catcher or something last night's game. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I saw that. So basically what happened, I mean, this is his version of it. Obviously, Boone and the Yankee dugout, as well as the Toronto dugout, were not happy with the home plate umpire, and I guess they were both sides yelling at him. So Boone's thrown out of the game, and supposedly Judge is up at the plate there, and he still hears some of the players on the bench complaining, cursing. He's not really sure what it is. So I guess he peeked over to the seconds, like, who's mouthing off, what's going on, and then he kind of put his focus back on the pitcher. Pitcher throws a breaking ball, and Judge just crushes it to that hotel out there in center field. It'd been cool if he broke a window, but nevertheless. But so right after that, the two Blue Jay announcers for the Blue Jay broadcast, they showed a replay of Judge's eyes looking over there, and it looks a little suspicious. Like, did he get us? Were they stealing signs? And this at the very last second, he look over to the dugout to get that sign and then hit the home run, but. It's not plausible for a number of reasons, so I'll break it down. So basically, they looked at all his other at-bats in that game, and no other time did he look over there. So it would be weird if they're cheating, and he did do that, and the one time he looks over there, he's able to get the sign, and he's able to hit a home run. The odds of those three things lining up is like in the billions, like winning the Powerball. So it just doesn't make sense. And it was like, it was like the guy's like fourth breaking ball in a row. It was like in the middle of an at bat. So it wasn't anything that was extreme. Like, wow, how do you even do that? And again, if he did that, like, let's say throughout the course of the game, like 7 or 8 times during the games, like, all right, he keeps looking over there. That's suspicious. The one time you look over there and then you're going to get the sign and hit the home run, it's just not plausible. So it's much ado about nothing. Again, I would believe more Judge's thing. Like, he's just probably like, hey, we're winning 6-0. Boone's already thrown out. Let's just like who's talking smack over this. Keep like he probably wants to see like what's going on. I mean, he is the Yankee captain, and he does take ownership of things. Like remember, I think it was like a year ago, Gleyber Torres didn't run out a ground ball.
Oh, yeah.
Judge confronted him in the dugout. Aaron Hicks got booed early this year. Judge came over, put his arm on his shoulder. So Judge probably wants to say like, all right, who's like talking smack over there? Because probably after the bat, maybe wants to like slap the guy over the head or something. So it's a big nothing. But the problem is, it's Aaron Judge out there. They're going to equate that role. Last year, he was stealing signs to get those 60 home runs. Plus it's the Yankees, Aaron Judge. So now you can have all the haters pile on, and they're making a big story, which is it's out of nothing.
Yeah, it's true, man. It really is out of nothing. But isn't it fair game to try to look at the catcher, though? I believe it's fair game, though. Isn't that the whole point of trying to? I mean, when the catcher sets up right behind the plate, and before he gives the sign, he looks up at the batter to see his eyes. And then he gives the sign. You know what I mean? So I believe it's fair play to try to steal that sign, but it's really hard to steal the sign. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean...
Yeah, as long, again, it's all fair game. Even if, like, if someone from the dugout spotted something, but as long as you don't use any electronic equipment, it's not illegal. Let's say he did something what they call gamesmanship. Let's just say he did that. He did nothing wrong. It's not like the Astros they were doing they were taking a videotape of signals and then like replaying with the button switch on the thing or banging it. Like if you're using technology to your advantage, or like the Red Sox back in 2018 with the smartphone, where the smartwatches relaying signs there, like Michael Knight with the Knight Rider there. That's all. You can't do that. You get fined. You get suspended. But if the Yankees legitimately just saw a catcher that wasn't covering signs well and sort of relayed that message to Judge, that's still okay. Now, Judge doesn't want to be seen as someone who needs that because him. But again, I just don't think that happened. I just think literally he was just looking over there. But yeah, like just go to your point though. If that's the case, it's nothing that he could be suspended or fined for, because as long as you're not using any electronic equipment or cameras or anything like that, it's all on. It's all gamesmanship. You know, it's legit.
True, man. I'm not saying it's easy to steal signs, but it is kind of easy to steal the sign if you just know what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Because when I'm at the game and I'm sitting there, you know, I pay attention to the manager and the third base coach, right? And the third base coach might have a runner on and he'll just start throwing some signs out there that doesn't mean anything, right? But if you just watch the manager